Donald Trump won. I mean, it's pretty simple.
All right, it's time to check in with the right wing to see how completely insane they've become. And to showcase this, let me play for you a clip here from Mike Lindell of My Pillow, discussing how Donald Trump apparently on August 13th is going to become president. And this isn't the first time he said this. I'll show another clip from before where he's talked about this. But let me play this most recent one where he spouts this conspiracy.
By the time the morning of August 13th, it'll be the talk of the world going, hurry up, let's get this election pulled down, let's right the right, let's get these communists out, that have taken over, and you'll see, when I say that, and they'll say, well, what's going to happen to all the people that were involved? I don't know. Right now, the biggest concern is getting this election pulled down. Donald Trump won. I mean, it's pretty simple. Okay, and there were many down-ticket senators, too, that they did, too, and stuff. You'll find all that out.
All right, so this was shared by Patriot Takes on Twitter. Patriot Takes documents a lot of this right-wing insanity. But as I said, this isn't the first time that Mike Lindell has come out and claimed this. He also did this on Steve Bannon's show. So let me play for you this clip. This is from March 29th.
What I'm talking about, Steve, is what I have been doing since January 9th. All the evidence I have, everything is going to go before the Supreme Court, and the election of 2020 is going bye-bye. It was an attack by other country, communism coming in. I don't know what they're going to do with it after they pull it down, but it's
hang on a second.
Hold on. Donald Trump will be back in office in August.
All right. This is even too much for Steve Bannon. Now, I'm going to first... let's just make it clear about these theories, this idea that the election was stolen. Of course it wasn't. I know you all know this, but I just want to be clear about that. Let me just read this quick paragraph here from Politico. Lindell's theories, to be clear, have been roundly rejected by experts. Trump's own Justice Department said it had found no evidence of fraud on a scale that would change the outcome of the November election. A council of federal officials and election supervisors, including a representative of the Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, called the election, quote, the most secure in American history. And Trump and his allies have lost more than 60 lawsuits seeking to overturn the election. Still, about 2/3 of Republicans believe Biden did not legitimately win the November election, according to a CBS News poll last month, a finding in line with other surveys. Now, in a second here, I'll get to a little more about these conspiracy theories and why people think the way they think. But first, this is why I rarely engage with this part of the right wing, because what is there to engage with? What facts do I have to correct that aren't already clearly false on their face? So it's hard to know, as a political commentator, it is hard to know what I should even say about the right wing, because to me it is so obvious these people are so full of shit. And look, some of them I think believe what they are saying. Mike Lindell, I read this piece in Politico. It is a very long piece on Mike Lindell. I wasted a lot of time reading it. I wouldn't say waste, but it gave me some more understanding of why he is the way he is. This guy has always been completely nuts. People have, talked about him, that Newman has passed before he became this big figure. He's always been this way. So in Mike Lindell's case, I think he actually believes what he is saying. I mean, right now he's facing a lawsuit from Dominion because he claimed their voting machines tampered the election and won it for Joe Biden, which of course didn't happen. But he is going through with that lawsuit, not backing down because he thinks he's right. So this guy is he's completely out there. But to have people listen to him, that there are actually a large group of people, Republican voters, Trump supporters, that actually believe this is where we get to why people believe conspiracy. So this from Politico. One feature of conspiracy theories researchers have found is that they can function as a coping mechanism in times of uncertainty or angst, offering straightforward and satisfying answers to conditions believers can't accept. The fact that a large majority of Republican voters believe Trump's claims that the election was rigged has allowed the party to forego the kind of soul-searching post-mortems that traditionally follow electoral defeats. For Lindell, no introspection is required if Trump didn't really lose. Voting machines were hacked, he believes, and Trump will be reinstated. This is why people are willing in large numbers to believe this bullshit, because for them, It is a coping mechanism in times of uncertainty or angst. So this allows the diehard Trump supporter to not have to accept the fact that more people in America voted for the other guy than for Donald Trump. It allows them to still feel okay, to still feel like they live in their minds in a sane world, because Trump didn't really lose. The election was rigged, and that's why he lost. And thinking or hoping that he's going to come in August to be reinstated and take control from Joe Biden it somehow allows that hope and that desire for, a connection to Trump, to this reality, to their reality, to continue. So all of this is, ultimately it's sad. We're talking about people who are clearly very weak-minded, are susceptible to this kind of bullshit because they are unable to accept that the world that they believe exists doesn't actually exist. And you have people like Mike Lindell who, again, I think really believe this, propagate this idea, and it allows these large groups of people to latch themselves onto something to keep that spirit in them, for lack of a better term, going. So this really is, I think, the main issue here, and why it becomes so hard as a political commentator like myself to comment on any of this, because I'm not, the whole reason why I do this is to try and change minds. I'm not going to change anyone's mind who thinks that Trump's going to be reinstated in August. There is nothing I can say or do that will change that person's mind, which makes me feel even more for anyone who, has a family member or a friend who believes this shit. Because how do you engage with somebody who lives in a completely different reality? Luckily, in my life, I don't know anyone like that, but there clearly are millions of people who know better, but have individuals in their life that believe this insanity and just can't get through to them. And I really don't know how you get through to those people. I think it takes time. You have to plant seeds. You really have to let them sort of discover reality on their own, if they're ever going to discover it at all. Especially when we're talking about years of propaganda, it takes a lot of time to try and undo that. So there is no quick solution to any of this, and you're going to continue seeing a right-wing Republican Party go further and further to the right, or really just further insane, because they cannot accept the fact that their grasp on reality is a completely different reality than the one that actually exists.